What you are witnessing is a battle between the sons and daughters of Skyrim and the Empire. A battle waged between two completely different sides, each with their own very different opinions. Opinions that would shape the future of Skyrim forever. On one side of the chessboard we have the Stormcloaks, who are being led by Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak of Windhelm, a man who firmly believes in the independence of Skyrim, the support of the god King Talos, and the removal of the Thalmor from its seat of power. On the other side we have the Empire, puppets of the Thalmor, who are in Skyrim to stop the so-called traitor Ulfric Stormcloak, quell his rebellious uprising, and to keep the peace across the lands, or so they say. Both the Thalmor and the Empire believe that they are the ones who should be ruling over the province of Skyrim. They also believe that this so-called Stormcloak rebellion is nothing but a nuisance for the Empire and should be stopped as soon as possible, as Ulfric Stormcloak is nothing but a traitor in their eyes. The Empire would have many believe this is the case and that Ulfric is nothing but a traitor, but if you dig a bit deeper into the background and make sure you have all the facts right, you would see that Ulfric is right. The best way to find your answers is by going to the root of all the problems for this civil war, and that is the Aldemari Dominion rulers, the Thalmor. The High Elf group known as the Thalmor caused a great war between the Dominion and the Empire many years before the Civil War in Skyrim takes place. With all the bloodshed and anger between both the Empire and the Thalmor, a compromise was eventually settled when the Empire realized that they would more than likely not be able to stop another attack and decided that holding off on rebuilding their army would be a better strategy. During this time of peacemaking, a very important deal was struck, and that was the White Gold Concordat. This was a set of rules the Thalmor wanted in place if they were to allow themselves and the Empire to get along. Things like making the worship of Talos illegal, disbanding the Blades, and handing over territory and gold on the side were all a part of this pact. This deal caused an uproar in Skyrim when it occurred to people that these laws and regulations would affect them, since Skyrim was a province under the Empire. What you need to understand is the Aldemari Dominion have used lying and manipulation to worm their way into power for years. Examples of this would be when they took advantage of the Void Knights with the Khajiit, when the two moons over Nirn, Secunda and Masser disappeared from the sky, and the Thalmor claimed they brought them back to sway the Khajiit towards their cause. Now I am not against the Empire for agreeing to these terms, since they didn't really have a choice. However, the problem for me stems from when a separate province of people who are a completely different race are forced to follow rules that shouldn't affect them. Forcing a people to stop supporting their religion is unfair, especially when the laws are coming from a completely different land, and the Empire is fully aware of this. Still, they try to enforce these rules against the people of Skyrim. This is a massive strike for me against the Empire, as they truly show they are a puppet to the Thalmor with the White Gold Concordat. Let's look to the very opening scene of Skyrim for the first reason the Empire turns me against it. The saying right place at the wrong time takes a turn here when you are captured and accused of crimes you haven't even committed at the beginning of Skyrim. You are then hauled off to Helgen, where you, Ulfric Stormcloak, some of his militia, and some petty thieves are tried for your so-called crimes. But we're only passing by and haven't done anything wrong, right? Well, to make things worse, even though the Empire realizes you are innocent, they are still going to execute you without any sort of fair trial. This type of dishonesty amongst the Empire has been seen before. Certain events like the Markarth incident, where Ulfric Stormcloak was told that if he took back Markarth for the Empire, the worship of Talos would be allowed within the city. But even this went to prove that the Empire will betray anyone if it helps their own agenda. Once Ulfric retook the city, the Empire betrayed Ulfric, named him a heretic and arrested him. So both the Dragonborn's potential execution and the Markarth incident are two completely different times the Empire proved to be dishonest, and somewhat stingy in their efforts of gaining control over Skyrim. Along with this dishonesty, we have the whole issue of them being complete puppets to the Thalmor. They are at the beck and call of the Thalmor and are always willing to do the Thalmor's bidding at any given moment. Even when they realize that they are doing is unjustified, they continue out of fear that the Aldemari Dominion may start another unnecessary war. Why join the side of cowards and schemers when you can fight for what's right, and that is the freedom to be who you want and worship whoever you want. Unlike the Empire, the Stormcloaks have clear goals in mind: the independence of their country, the free land of Skyrim, to be left alone and out of the grimy hands of the Empire. Not only this, but to be rid of the Thalmor once and for all out of the entirety of Skyrim. Stormcloaks are to expel or execute the Thalmor justicers patrolling Skyrim's lands, and why would they not? The Thalmor have tried to crush the Nords' way of life and their way of worship in the name of Talos, their one true god. The mentality of Mer within the Aldemari Dominion is that High Elves think themselves better than men. They believe believed that they would be much better rulers than farmers or shepherds, which is what most of the Stormcloaks are. However, they are also soldiers who fought within the Great War before the time of this civil conflict in Skyrim. But these soldiers are to be led under Ulfric Stormcloak, who will prove to the other Jarls that no other is more worthy of the High King title than himself. Achieving High King of Skyrim would ensure that the worship of Talos will be allowed across all of Skyrim, and that is a good enough reason for any Nord to join the Stormcloak side. Once all of these goals are hit, the focus can be placed on the future of attacking and finishing off the Aldemari Dominion, who have caused so much strife across Tamriel's provinces since its third founding. Besides, who doesn't want to slay a few Thalmor soldiers along the way? Maybe with a bit of time and behind the scene planning, the Empire and Stormcloaks could have joined together, worked out how to rid the lands of the Thalmor and put a stop to the wrath of the Aldemari Dominion. But this isn't how this timeline will play out. The Empire has decided to be complete and utter puppets to the Thalmor, and that in itself is the biggest crime the Empire has committed, allowing the hard work of Saint Alicia to Uriel Septim to Titus Mede I to be a big waste of time if it all ends with them being under the control of the Aldemari Dominion. Ulfric puts heart into his people, is dedicated to gaining and controlling Skyrim's eventual independence, and I say eventual independence because the Empire may have the soldiers, but it does not have the heart to conquer a people as fearsome as the Nords. The Stormcloaks will push through, sit Ulfric on the throne and rule Skyrim with a fair and strong fist. The worship of Talos will be allowed across all the lands, as how could we forget about the incredible achievements of this god? The Aldemari Dominion have been allowed to exist for too long with their crimes against the other provinces and their people, and it was inevitable that somebody stronger was going to rise up against them and put a stop to it all. And that person is Ulfric Stormcloak, who is the fist of karma and fury that will put a stop to the Aldemari Dominion.